there's times in our lives when we do feel we're trapped in a situation. Also feel sometimes lost, sometimes concerned that we're not getting in life what we've planned and what we'd love to experience, especially for the soul. And in those times, we have trillions and trillions of cells that are vibrating. However, because of the way we feel, they can't act on our behalf. In my work, I've discovered the vibration of the spoken word is the trigger or the key that will open all locked areas in the body. It will actually create the simplicity to harmonise every cell. So telepathically, all cells become the value of our thoughts in our words. It is us setting our goals and then allowing what we speak to the cells. We become driven by all these little cells into action. A lot of people will consider that luck plays a big part in their life. Fate is another one that they feel would often be part of their lives. However, they are just two belief systems, for we can react to life when we're in charge in exact ways that will give us everything to use as a personal, professional pattern of success. Consider the fact of finance or money or prosperity. It's on a journey. We become the courier of the I am in that journey. So as we set goals, we actually create cells that are ready to journey into the prosperity. And before long we find the doors open and things happen. We meet people, we talk with people, and we get ideas. So we can actually bond and put together the project so easily because these cells have listened, obeyed and reacted, bringing in the consciousness of many energies and many people to produce their project on time.
Elaine, you talked about talking to cells.
Yes.
How do you do it? Where does the power of instructing the cells to do what we want them to do, where does that come from? How do we do that cell talk? How do we talk to ourselves?
Cells. Well, the reality of the cells, they're more wiser than us, but they're very humble. So what they collect is, we talk to them all the time. So the consciousness is that they do not overreact to us. The body does not overreact to us. This is a very deep understanding because we think we overreact. It is not overreaction, it is acting out our talk. So the practical side of talking to your cells is to be wise what you say. And they will obey because they are more wiser. However, we must remember they're humble. They will not step out of alignment with our demands. They keep true and straight on the line for everything we think and say. So take for example, if we are sad, they know how not to be sad. However, they're humble enough to be sad. And even though it is sacrificial to them because when we're under stress, we wear out our cells a lot quicker. Healthy cells can last a lot longer. So if we emotionally load up these cells with what we say, they wear out quickly. However, they're wise enough to not do that if we're wise enough to use them rightly. We were born to live in a world that supplied everything to be healthy. So the consciousness to be healthy is the reality of us taking charge of our health. Many people will be born with genetic imprints that maybe will cause or project bad health. However, the genes, I have discovered my work, is simply a template that is slightly out of shape. And once you learn to understand what good health is contained and maintained with, is simply new cells being built. So all old cells that would carry the disease or the problem can be released from the body. And we can build a new template by simply ordering the right chromosomes, the right protons and the right sensitivity of the proteins to build a perfect cell for a perfect reason. However, everything must have a reason. Simply building cells and not using them is wasting cells and often create health problems. We must give our cells a purpose to be healthy in their lifetime stories. There are many, many stories inside a cell. It's time for us to know which story we'd love to create by asking the cells to be our servant in their work. When I was married to Bruce, we had 6 children, and that's when it started to weigh on my mind the consciousness of health, because they all had inherited a defect in the gene that gave them diabetes that couldn't be cured. It was from this platform that I learned and sought after a cure. After I'd found the consciousness of muscle testing, I was able to learn how to muscle test and collect all the information that you would ever need to allow their bodies to heal. What they should eat, what they should drink, what they should rest for, and how much exercise. The simple technique of muscle testing is to understand that the instinct of the body is a subconscious in the cell that knows right from wrong as yes and no. Therefore, when you muscle test, in that system you actually create a locked muscle or a loose muscle. This allows the body to give you the correct answers. So through a number of years I practiced this on my children until I discovered that you could too muscle test into a project of learning what the body was all about. So I spent hours muscle testing through the alphabet, breaking on each letter until I had created a database of how our cells really work. This allowed me to then write all the programs that I practice with today and am now willing to teach to the world, how to bring in the consciousness of a system using the earth energies that will flow through into every cell and teach it to be well. It's simply so simple that it's such a delight to teach, and I'm sure many will learn it.
A lot of us have experienced healing from Elaine. Can you give some examples of some miraculous experiences you have experienced over the years?
Well, the first a miracle that happened in my life was to save my children's lives. And they now, Gwenda was given 2 years to live when she was 19. She is now 41. And another thing, the consciousness of this body that's in pain. Being able to put your hands on someone's head and ask the pain to leave, using the system that knows how to do it, is magic. I've had people, I had a man the other day that for 9 years he's lived under the umbrella of Parkinson's disease. He was in his 80s, a beautiful old man, brought to his knees with not being able to walk and having to wear nappies. It was sad to look at him in that state. So he came down to see me, and his wife's in her 80s as well, and she will not put him in a home. She said, we've been together for 60 years, they're not taking him off me. They can't have him, he's mine. So they came into the room, they told me their story about the Parkinson's disease. However, when I went through the balance and started to collect information, I said, this system's been poisoned. It may act like Parkinson's disease, but in the crunch of the problem, there's poison that the body hasn't been able to eliminate. Oh, she said, I know what it is. She said 10 years ago, he had just retired and he was always a busy man. So he climbed in under the house to do something and he got caught in a corner and it was a black ant's nest. And she said he was bitten and bitten and bitten and he couldn't get out of there. And she said it was only over the next 6 weeks he deteriorated so much until he became an invalid. And he was confused. His mind wouldn't work properly for him. In his heydays, he was a clever man. He'd pulled down 5 pianos just for a hobby, cleaned it all up and put them back together. So what I did, I went through the balance, I put him on the table, and I put my hands on his head and I started to talk to his body and relax his body. And I said, Gordon, lift your left leg. She said, oh no. Irene said, no, he can't lift his left leg. He doesn't even know where his left leg is. Up come his left leg. I said, right, pull it towards your chest. Come towards his chest. I said, straighten your legs up and see if you can reach the roof. So away it went. I said, you can put it down now, it's proved a point. Do the same thing. Lift up your right leg. And by this time, she's in tears. So she stood up at the table because she's so protective over him. And I said, Gordon, put your left foot on Irene's chest and press into her chest. Now, he had no power in his leg before this. And I knew she was safe because the lounge was behind her. So I said, push into Irene's chest. And he pushed her backwards and sat her in the chair. By that time, she was sobbing. And so we're working with it. There's vitamins and minerals. We have to cleanse the body. It will take might take 12 months. They've been back a couple of times. Every time you can actually get his legs moving, and he's able to hobble along now with a frame around him, and he will practice and retrain the brain to work with the body again. And of course, there's many ways to cleanse the body, as you yourself know.
What experiences have you had with children?
I've had wonderful experiences with children. Children are so practical and so trustful. And one day I had a little boy came in. This was all new to his family, but he'd had so much trouble. He was in and out of hospital all the time. He was about 8, he was 8. And then he came and he had asthma really, really bad, but he loved school and he wanted to go to school, but he couldn't because of his asthma. So I went through with his mum and we worked out where the asthma was coming from. I put him on the table, and with children I always use their hero. So I collected his hero, then I put him in the story with his hero, and I told the body through the hero, I said, the hero's going to heal you now. Let's see what the hero will do when he looks inside your body. This is better than any x-ray, darling. So you just relax and listen to the story. So I took the hero right through the system, and he got his breath back, and he sat up and he said, "Thank you, Mrs. Croker." And then he turned to his mum. He said, "Thank you, Mummy, for bringing me here." And he said, "I want to go to school now." Oh, she said, "You can't go to school with asthma." He said, "No, I'm going to school now, Mummy." So away he went.
So with prime tuning, how does it come about? Like what actually is prime tuning?
Prime tuning is a combination of bringing together the universal energy into the sphinx of our self-personal cells. So every cell is made to create what we really are. They're replaceable. So we are so made that we can use our cells in circumstances and experiences. They stand by us and they give us feelings in that experience. However, they need not be scarred because they're so built that they will move out of the experience and they allow new cells to move in. So understanding prime tuning is simply knowing we are in control to trillions and trillions of cells as little servants. And they actually represent a village. You've got the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and all the ones in between. So when we're working in through experience, be it emotionally or physical, these cells represent each other by the consciousness that they are aware of each other and their needs. So basically they bond everything together, they do the job well for us. Then, once we've experienced that experience, felt that energy and used that energy, they step out of the way to allow new cells to start again next morning with a new experience. They're magic.